Hello viewers, this is Sujarita Kukreti reporting live from Washington DC for Republic TV, and it's going to be a day full of bilateral meetings for Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the American President Donald Trump. We are going to get you all the latest details from the White House, where this very historic meeting is going to be taking place, and I am joined by Saurabh Shukla. Saurabh Shukla has been telling us about the Indian-American ties. He's been tracking the India-US ties for many years now. And Saurabh, if you would like to tell us, how are you viewing this Donald Trump-Narendra Modi meeting? What are the expectations that you have? What do you think are going to be the big announcements?
So, Charita, as you know, braving the rains there in the Washington, D.C. area. As she was saying, that it is going to be a very crucial meeting between the two leaders, U.S. President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he meets tomorrow, that's February 13th, Washington, D.C. time in the evening. If you talk to diplomats here, talk to people in White House, they are touting this as one of the biggest visits of the Donald Trump 2.0 presidency, because he attaches a huge, I would say, currency to the India partnership. That was the reason why Prime Minister Narendra Modi got a rousing reception, welcome when he reached here, the Blair House today, and he met Tulsi Gabbard, who's the Director of National Intelligence, a key interlocutor for Donald Trump, who looks after the entire intelligence apparatus of the US government. So she met the Prime Minister at the Blair House this evening, and tomorrow when he meets Donald Trump, issues like those of tariffs, India is has made it clear that it is going to go all out to make sure that they find a balance in between what US's concerns is and what India's concerns are. The other issue is going to be India playing and helping US be a peacemaker, whether it's on Ukraine-Russia war or on the Middle East situation. Also on China, India is very clear that Indo-Pacific has to be free and Chinese hegemony has to go away. This is the US stance as well. And that is going to be a big factor as well. India also will express its concern on if, backlogs that have been faced by Indian, Americans, Indian professionals who are there in the US, be it on H-1B or green card. So something Prime Minister will have what they're calling in DC as a common sense diplomacy when it comes to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is expecting a dollar for dollar approach, and this is what India is going to expect, to articulate with the US president when Prime Minister meets him, that India stands with the US as a key ally and also as a friend. It's also a meeting to re-establish the chemistry between the two leaders. Don't forget, the Prime Minister will also invite the US President Donald Trump for a Quad summit, which is expected to be held in India. And he's going to convey to the US President that even a bigger welcome than what he got in his last state visit to India awaits him. Bigger than what
now,
the
Saurabh, what really is important, and we've been speaking to the Indians here, the Indian Americans here. Normally, when a US president,
the days after the inauguration, especially, this is just 3 weeks after his inauguration, and he's invited the Indian Prime Minister to the White House.
Yes.
Now, these are the days that are specifically reserved for meetings with the strategic allies, long-term partners like Israel, like Japan. But is Donald Trump very clearly giving out a statement by inviting Narendra Modi, the Indian Premier? He's trying to tell the world that the Indians are strategic partners with the people and the country of United States of America?
Absolutely, Sucharita. You're right that this is early on, and this is an honor reserved for the key US allies and friends. Donald Trump is clearly has said publicly as well that he considers Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a friend, and he attaches high importance to the India partnership. That's what is being signaled by White House by this summit meeting. Also, don't forget, he's hosting a dinner for the Prime Minister. It's a working visit, but yet he's hosting a dinner. This is the first of the leaders that he's hosting a dinner for in the White House. So also the summit level meeting itself, if you see the manner in which, despite the fact that he, there are a lot of other pressing agenda that the US president has, he's made sure that the Indian Prime Minister is invited. Also, another signal was when External Affairs Minister of India, S. Jaishankar, when he was seated at the inaugural, he was on the first row, given a higher protocol than it's given to a foreign minister, because he was a special envoy of the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. So that is the kind of relationship both leaders have, and you will see that on display. Yes, like friends, you will have differences, but what is happening behind closed door, that's the reason why you see External Affairs Minister Jaishankar here, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval being here. So India has got a high-level delegation, and US President will also introduce his key cabinet minister, key cabinet members to the Indian Prime Minister. Sucharita?
Okay, now, Saurabh, I think let's just look at it geopolitically. There were two important news pieces that came in today, and I would like to see it in attaching it the importance to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit. The first one being the 90-minute phone call, the conversation between Donald Trump and President Putin. And the second one being Tulsi Gabbard, who was the newly confirmed intelligence chief. Now, Tulsi Gabbard was attacked earlier, known as she was called a Putin sympathizer. Now, I want to put two and two together. Now, there is a scenario that we are seeing where Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been to Russia. He's very closely working with Putin, and he's also told him to put an end to war. Now, on the other side, there is Trump coming in, and he's speaking to Putin, and there is a changing global scenario where you see a triad, which is Putin, Modi, and Donald Trump. Do you see it something like that?
Well, absolutely. In some ways, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was the first global leader to actually tell Vladimir Putin that this is not the time for war, if you remember. He said it openly and also in front of a global audience. US President Donald Trump realizes that India's credibility is there on international arena. Tomorrow, when the two leaders meet, I do expect that the Prime Minister will convey to the US President that he is willing to help US in whatever way it takes to put this war to an end. And that is where, because India has been a big votary of global peace, and I see, this not only as a triad, but in the days to come, in the next 4 years, you will see US and India coming together as two countries who will be not only unifying the world, but also will play the role of a peacemaker. And I see a critical role to be played by Prime Minister Modi in this, and he will convey this to President Trump when he meets him tomorrow in White House. Sucharita.
Okay, Saurabh, there is also, there are certain issues that were raised back home, and one being the issue of how the Indians who were living here illegally, they were handcuffed, they were sent back, even though the foreign minister gave in a statement in the parliament. Now, do you think that is an issue that could come up during the talks between the two leaders, because it created quite a furor back home and even in the parliament? And secondly, do you think the Prime Minister would take up the issue of visa for skilled workers? And why I say this, because the Indian Prime Minister maintains that that skilled workforce also adds to Trump's idea of MAGA, making America great again, because they add to the American economy.
Absolutely. One thing is there, one of the key, I would say, unifiers or the bridge between US and India are these skilled, immigrants, people in the diaspora. US-India relationship is strengthened by that. Prime Minister Narendra Modi realizes it. So does Donald Trump. He saw that in Houston when the Howdy Modi event happened. He was there along with the Prime Minister, took a whole victory lap around the stadium. He realizes the power of Indian diaspora, which actually overwhelmingly also part of them, who are voters here, really supported him. So I think in the conversation, Prime Minister will definitely mention to him that there is a big backlog which is facing, the Indian Americans who are waiting for their green cards, they're waiting for their H-1B. That should be resolved because, it should be the skill-based immigrants who should get preference because they've also, built the relationship between the two countries and also strengthen the economic cooperation between the two countries. On illegal immigration, India has already conveyed to the US through diplomatic channels, through when External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar was here, that India will take any illegal immigrant who has violated the law of the land of the US, because India is a rule-abiding country. As a friend of the US, it will take those illegal immigrants back. On the humane treatment, yes, through the diplomatic channels, they have conveyed to the US side that they should be treated with dignity and in humane conditions. That much they have, asked the US government, and I believe behind closed doors, assurances have been given. That's the reason why you see, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval also part of the delegation to make sure that any security issues between the two countries can also be sorted out. So I see that, this is not a big issue. I don't see the Prime Minister raising it, but I do know that through diplomatic channels, this issue has already been raised between India and the US. Sucharita?
Yeah.
Another thing that Saurabh, I think you need to shed light on, the budgets that just went by in India. We saw Nirmala Sitharaman cutting down customs on high-end foreign manufactured bikes, also electric vehicle batteries. Now, very, very directly impacting companies like Tesla, like Harley Davidson. They're all American companies. So you think that there is a signaling that has already been done by the Indian administration, by the Indian government, that we are ready to walk with you even in terms of tariff, because that's a strong message that Donald Trump, ever since he's come to power again, has been giving up.
Absolutely. If you remember, President Trump has been talking about this whole India having high tariffs and all. So ahead of the meeting, when Prime Minister goes to White House, there's a clear messaging there that, listen, we have already gone that extra mile, making sure that the US companies have access to India at a lower tariff. So we are already walking the talk on the promises that we made. Now, US also has to make sure that it does follow with reciprocity, whether on Indian steel or aluminum, by making sure that you have reciprocal tariffs. So with Donald Trump 2.0, it will be a dollar for dollar diplomacy. India realizes it. Prime Minister's brief, which has been given to him, also has that, where he's going to tell US President Donald Trump that as a friend, India will make sure that US's concerns are met, and as a friend of India, US should also ensure India's concerns are met. So both will agree on things that they can agree on, and also there will be certain issues where they continue to disagree. But as friends, you continue to articulate those things, and that will be there in the meeting. But this meeting, I do expect India to address some of the concerns that US has had in the past on the tariff issue, so that there can be, a meeting point there. Sucharita.
Saurabh, also, there is a freewheeling conversation here in Washington, D.C., that Donald Trump is a businessman to the core and he will get every penny back to America. Now, the question that I want to ask you is, hasn't India really, in the past decade or 2 decades, we've seen, India too knows how to do its business, and we've shown the world that India can do its business well?
Well, I could say that, President Trump is an established businessman, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi is an astute negotiator. He comes from Gujarat, which is known for its astute business acumen. And I think we should not have any doubts on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's negotiating skills there. And I'm sure you will have a meeting of minds. You and me both will be there inside White House when they meet, and we will see the bonhomie when the two leaders meet. I'm already getting a sense that in some ways they're looking forward to meeting each other, and you will see a chemistry of Donald Trump 2.0 and Narendra Modi 3.0 coming together for this greater good of the world, and also making sure that there is a deeper and a better engagement between US and India. As they say, the US-India dosti, जिसे कहते हैं, this will be a new paradigm of US-India friendship, which will be etched out, hopefully, in this White House
When you speak
meeting.
of dosti, Saurabh, on a lighter note, when I met a few Indians today, I spoke to them about the Modi-Trump relationship, the kind of camaraderie they share. So the discussion that was going on was, is it going to be a handshake or is it going to be a hug this time? So that was the conversation that was taking place. So that
I can tell you
the kind of moments we've seen these two state leaders sharing. Yeah,
there will be a handshake and a hug. I can put my bet on that, and we will see the visuals. The hug diplomacy of the Prime Minister is very well known, and Donald Trump also is somebody who realizes it. So I do expect that bonhomie to be there.
Paris with Emmanuel Macron.
Yes, absolutely. You saw that. You saw the fact. You look at the rapport that he developed with the US Vice President J.D. Vance, for instance. He met him for the first time. In fact, J.D. Vance wrote with his son, that he celebrated his son's birthday with the Prime Minister. So, those are the gestures which really carry a lot of weight. Diplomacy is not about, I would say, sometimes these informal meetings strengthen your bonds in a manner in which you can't even imagine, and even the biggest of the deals are possible. And also another thing I want to tell you and the viewers who are watching us, that between Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi, it will be a leader-to-leader diplomacy. They will both be in a position where they pick up the phone and say, this is the issue that we are facing, let's solve it. And Donald Trump is a very, very I've interviewed him, I've interacted with him. I can tell you, he's somebody who is a delivery-oriented person, who wants this done. If you see the executive orders, the number of executive orders that he has released is unprecedented. What he's trying to do through Doge, where he's got Elon Musk to cut the cost. So those are things. In fact, tomorrow you may see him giving him some tips on government efficiency, which the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, is also trying to do. So I think there will be a meeting of minds there as well.
No, but the kind of relationship that you speak about, Saurabh, that it's a man-to-man relationship, it's a leader-to-leader relationship between the two, where either can pick up the phone and speak. I don't think that kind of relationship has been shared by the state heads of either side. I mean, if we go back a few tenures to the other presidents and leaders of the country, it's very unique, it's very rare.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what's happening. And I've been here in Washington, D.C. For some time now. I can tell you, Sucharita, what has changed in this White House is that the president's word carries a lot more weight. I would say that, I saw the Biden presidency a lot of the time, even though India relationship enjoys a bipartisan support, and President Biden, to be fair, also contributed to that relationship. But I would say Donald Trump's presidency will bring newer dimensions, more, I would say things which are unconventional. If India and the US can actually achieve things which were never possible earlier, this is the right time to do it. And Prime Minister realizes it. He knows there is no template of relationship when it comes to Donald Trump. And Prime Minister is going to play on that. He will also try to, broach certain ideas, be it on artificial intelligence. I'm very sure that he's going to convey, a renewed message from the people of India, inviting President Trump and telling him that he will get a bigger welcome than what Coldplay got, filling a stadium in Ahmedabad, which is the Narendra Modi Stadium. And Donald Trump, like every big politician, he loves the crowds. And I'm sure his India trip, which will happen later this year, will also be a roaring success and also bring both the countries even more together. Sucharita?
No, and those are visuals that stay with us, Saurabh, be it the Howdy Modi or the Namaste Trump that we've seen in the last tenure of Donald Trump. Those were visuals that remain with us. We often speak about them. We know that those moments were moments that carried the Trump-Modi relationship to where it is today. So it is very, very significant that the two leaders meet and they carry the relationship forward from where they left it. And I don't even know if I can say that they left it, because there are conversations of the two that were being talked about even when Donald Trump was not president. And I think now that he's back in power, I think both the state heads are going to be picking it up from where they left it. So a very, very important day ahead, Saurabh, where we're going to be looking at those, looking out for those bilaterals, some important announcements that may be catering to defense, to AI, space technology. Yeah.
And also, I want to add for our viewers who are watching us that there will be a US-India joint statement which will be released, which will actually etch out the trajectory of the relationship for the next 4 years. Both the countries are working. In fact, I was talking to a diplomat. They were trying to, negotiate till very end, like every diplomatic negotiation has it. But they're fairly confident that they will have a joint statement which will actually sum out our relationship, the vibrancy of this partnership, and also in the next few months, next 4 years, how will it chart out? And you will see a bigger and a better partnership for the benefit of the two countries and also for the whole world, Sucharita. And we are looking forward to presenting to our viewers through this joint News Mobile and Republic broadcast, through as they meet in White House tomorrow.